Hey, welcome to Mono No Audio. I'm Cecil Nick, your friendly neighborhood sound goblin. Today we're going to talk about tuning your samples in Ableton Live. However, pretty much any DAW will have a version of these devices, so it should be easy to translate to whatever environment you're working in. All right, so I have three samples we're going to work with. There's a bass, some percussion, and these stabs. The first thing we need to do when tuning any sample is figure out what notes are already playing. The tool you need will depend on how complex the sound is. For this bass, we could use any sort of general tuner. And we can see we got a note here, probably playing something like a D. But for these stabs, has no idea. Tuner doesn't know. In this case, we would need something like a frequency spectrum analyzer, which Ableton's EQ can actually do this pretty well. And we sort of see what's playing. So let's dig into the bass. I've got a sampler here, and I'm just gonna drag that sample in. And if I hadn't already figured out that it's playing a D, I could play a C. If we watch this MIDI monitor, you'll see that I'm playing in the note C3, which is what right now the sampler thinks the root of this sound is, and then the tuner will tell us what is coming out on the other end. So when I press C, I'm getting D. That means it's not properly tuned. So I can just go up 2 semitones to D, and now I get C in, C out. Now this is not really the right octave for a bass instrument, so I'd probably want to pull this down, and then I could play on my keyboard in the right range for the instrument. Pretty simple, straightforward when you have not a very complex sound to start with. Let's look at this stab next. It's a little more complicated. If I kind of tell this to loop, we can watch. In fact, can I loop an even smaller section here? We can start to sort of pick up what's happening. Let's try to take note of the notes. Probably a G, D, a little more G, and then this last hit. Has a bunch of B, so this is probably something in G major. I'm gonna chop up each of these into their own individual hits. And instead of dropping them all just into a single sampler like I did with the bass, I'm gonna make what Ableton calls a drum rack, but it doesn't really have to be used exclusively for drums. And I'm gonna drag each one of these onto its own pad inside the drum rack. And then we could use the tuning on this to try and get it where we want it to be. So if I want to go back and put this again, thinking about the bass and kind of trying to get down to a C, if I throw back on EQ, open that up and play the pad, I'm gonna try to take that bottom note and make it into a C. Too much. One more. So 5. What do we got here? We can probably do the same thing. Go 5 semitones up. This last one harps on that B note, which is the major third. So if I wanted to put this into a minor key, for instance, I might need to translate this to something else. So we had that C we were aiming for. If I go up 3 from there, I should have the minor third of C, which would be a major chord in that key. Now, tuning percussion like this loop here is a debate we can have if we wanted. You don't necessarily need to tune your percussion, but it can help everything feel more cohesive. So why don't we go ahead and tune this down to C or up, not sure yet. Let's tune it to C. Oh, excellent. It's the main note there is a C sharp, so we just come down one. And we got it. That was easy. Let's actually maybe pitch it up an octave. So an octave would be 12 semitones. In this case, we want -1, so we're gonna go up to 11. I think that works. Let's build up something to go around it. I think it would be cool to tune the stabs down an octave. So if we do 5 - 12, -7. So I set this up with a loop, and so that it kind of will loop as it trails out. Now that we've got that figured out, let's play something in. Yeah, that works. Now bass. Yeah, just to see how it would be. Let's try this back and forth without tuning the percussion. Right, it's not bad, it's fine, but to me it just sounds a little bit tighter in this case when it's tuned to the rest of the beat. I hope that helps you on your musical journey. If you have any questions or anything else you'd like me to talk about, let me know in the comments or at MonoNoAudio on Instagram. Until the next time, stay safe and be well.